think more but the kids. Yeah, I'm talking a little bit about him. I wish I could say something positive.
Why she and you think because she ain't had youth was the reason why she ended up with him?
I don't know.
I think that's what it is. My sister's similar to that. Like my sister got two kids, two baby daddies, and neither one of their kids' fathers in their life. So we were talking about off camera about how women don't know the damage that's caused from just bad mouthing the father. And you said that you didn't like how your previous situation, your kid's mother, talked down on you, and then you now realize that your daughter, she has now come to a realization that you nothing like what the mom said you was all these years. How did that make you feel?
Okay, let me go back and tell you a little bit. I had 4 kids. I was married to a woman back when I was younger. We ended up getting a divorce, and after we got a divorce, the mother was like angry and always talked down to me to the kids. So after years after the divorce, my daughter came to me and told me how the mother
How many
would.
years?
It was probably about after my daughter ended up having children. She came to me and told me how her mother used to talk bad about me.
So how many years between the divorce and she having kids? So how long was the hiatus of
About 10 years after
10 years?
that, yeah.
So you didn't have like the relationship you wanted to have with your daughter for the 10 years during that gap?
It was damaged because the mother was like wanted. It was like being on a team. The mother wanted them to be closer to her instead of me.
Right. It was you versus her instead of it being y'all versus it.
Yeah, instead of being a team as a
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
because she was trying to push them away from me and
Hmm.
have them closer to them.
So 10 years go by, then your daughter start having kids. She reaches out to you, or you reach out to her?
She came to me and told me how her mother used to talk bad about me, and she realized it wasn't true.
What was that initial? So did she pulled up on you, or she called you? What was the initial contact like? Because for you to be a father and not really having a relationship with one of your kids, and to be your daughter for 10 years, and you finally did you get a call, or did she pull up on you? Did she
I
know where you
think
stayed?
between those 10 years,
You okay?
sorry,
You good?
let me call you back.
Oh, okay. I want to ask you something about the store, but okay.
Okay, I'll call you right
Okay.
back. Bye.
Okay.
I think between those 10 years, my daughter ended up was having relationships with a young man and had 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to always give her advice about the young man. Like told him that, just give her some fatherly advice.
Uh huh.
And I never talked bad about her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So she came to me one day and told me that my, ex-wife used to talk bad about me. And she said I realized it wasn't true.
Mm. How did she come to that realization? You know?
I think after she had kids, she came to me and told me that.
Oh, because she now realized the things that she now had different values. Because before she had kids, she thought a man or a father was supposed to do whatever she thought in her head based on what her mom maybe told her. And then when she had the kids, and then she realized the man that she had the kids by wasn't doing half of the things that her father used to do. I guess she may have realized that my mama didn't know what she was talking about.
Kind of, yeah.
Could that
Yeah.
be it?
Yeah. I think so. Because even after I got a divorce, I used to take my kids on vacations and do like fatherly stuff with her whenever I could. But I noticed my ex-wife was used to give me a hard time. You
What
know,
you think she wanted? Because if you did all those things and she wasn't counting it or valuing it, what do you think she considered as you doing something, giving her money?
who her, the ex-wife.
Yeah. Because if you were doing all these things, vacations, buying clothes and gifts and picking them up and taking them places. Were you doing that? Were you being present with them like that, or just monetary value?
I was present. I was
Okay.
in their lives, going to the graduations and
Were you getting them on the weekends? What was the
getting them
agreement
on
like?
the weekends, picking them up. Even when I was picking them up on the weekend, my ex-wife used to give me a hard time, like making me wait out in the parking lot for 4 hours, sending the kids out there with clothes that was too small, just making it look, making me look bad.
Yeah.
But
So do you think she had the clothes that fit them in the house, but she just every time she brought them with you, she wanted that's like forcing you to spend money on
of
them?
course, because I was paying child support when I got a divorce, I went down there and initiated child support on my own and make sure she didn't even miss a child support check.
So she possibly. So I'm giving her grace, thinking that she just may have just bought them clothes that was too small for you to spend more money, but she may not have been spending child support checks on them at all.
She had clothes there at the house. She just made sure that when I
It
had the
cost you every
kids,
single time you picked
that
them
I
up.
was gonna spend some money and just try to humiliate me. And I was like, I'm not gonna deal with that. So
Right.
I had clothes at my house. I was like, my daughter used to cry like my shoes too tight. I like take my shoes off and
Right.
put the ones I got in your room because they had a room, room in my house full of clothes. We went on vacations on the weekends.
Yeah, because you value some clothes.
Yeah, they had clothes.
Yeah, because they father kept some clothes.
But
So.
she would intentionally send them to my house with small shoes, clothes that's too tight. And they used to tell me, my mama made me wear these shoes and they're too tight. And like, she was just doing that. And I asked other people, like, why is she's still in love with you? She probably angry because I, divorced her. And why? And then well, we had a bad communication problem. Wasn't communicating, properly.
Effectively.
Yeah, during a marriage, we didn't see eye to eye. Didn't our objectives wasn't the same. So that's what I think it broke down the family.
Yeah, and I think a large part of that is gender roles. So, Mani and I think most men think when they think about wife, they think about the house being clean, food being cooked, dishes being washed. Because subconsciously we value that as men because we think that that's a woman's role, especially if you're going to work, right? But what if the woman works too, or that the woman not good at that? Like we think that they should be taking care of the kids because it's something they have a nurturing spirit, which is true. But what if it's both our jobs to do all of those things? And I think as men, we look at the woman if they don't do those things because it's their job, then they fall short, in which they do. But at the same time, what if we do a better job as men by doing those tasks and letting them do something that they
When I
actually
was
good
married,
at?
I used to wash clothes, cook, and work.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same exact thing she did.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that.
And she just
And I took out the garbage and cut the grass and fixed the car on top of that.
And what did you think what did you love about her? What made you marry her? What are the qualities that you fell in love with? Because if you've now married and you realize she don't cook like you want or clean like you want or wash dishes or wash clothes like you would like, what were those qualities that made you say I do?
In the beginning, it was different. We worked together. It seemed like after 5 years in the marriage, it was like she was things was being pulled apart. And I noticed her mother used to be involved with our relationship. And I think
You think that's what did it?
some of the things
Outside
in her
noise?
past, outside noise. Some of the things in the past when she was growing up, her father or her stepdaddy wasn't, in her life, or she didn't get along with him, and her mother used to talk negative about him. So I think that carried on. It's like a curse.
Yeah, because if the mom never healed from her situation, it's just she maybe be planning her daughter ear. It's just a matter of time before he do something. It's just a matter of time, just a matter of time. And now the woman is thinking, okay, well, it is just a matter of time before he do something different or he become the ain't shit nigga that my mom told me all men are.
And I heard it in my family too. I even heard my mother talk negative about my father. So it wasn't just in her family.
Yeah.
After my mother got a divorce, my mother used to talk negative about my father. He's no good. He's this. He's that.
I think, and I agree because I dealt with this as well. But we kind of talked about this earlier. I believe that is more to that equation because if the kid is always in proximity of the parent and that person, that spouse, that husband, that boyfriend was the center of the mom's or the ex-wife or the girlfriend's perspective, whom else would she talk about? If this person was her world and now no longer is, it's like her whole world has been turned upside down. So in her being so hurt, that's all she wants to talk about because she's so hurt. She's trying to express her feelings. Now, could she do it differently? Of course. But I don't think that women properly understand how to express their feelings in a way in which it does not hurt or damage the child.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of emotions what a woman feels.
Mm-hmm. Because my father used to always tell me, "You're gonna see I'm not just a bad guy." That I still was able to see the things in which my dad was doing that I did not agree with, but that always gave me perspective to maybe not always side 100% on my mom's side or not always believe everything I hear my mom say.
After you got older, you realize.
Yeah, like even in the moment when my dad was telling me that, because I know my father, I the person that I love as my father, like I understand that he's not all bad. So when he says I'm not just a bad guy, it's like, okay, well, I know my father has some good intentions. At some point I'm gonna be able to maybe look back or looking forward for anything in the future, look at it from a different perspective and not just 100% my mom right. Because it don't matter what someone say, if you believe they're 100% right, you're gonna agree no matter whatever comes out their mouth. So in me, like, okay, well, let me give my dad 25 or 30% or even 50% benefit of the doubt. It transformed my way of looking at situations.
And I think it's kind of like not being fair because women get a lot of leeway as far as with the kids
Yeah.
because kids gravitate toward their mother.
Yeah.
And father don't get the credit they get, you should get. So
I agree to a certain extent, but I'm the newly father, so right now, like, I love the fact that how my daughter gravitate towards me, and I don't want that to ever end. Like, people have been telling me recently they never see me smile as much. It's because this little girl brings me so much joy, and I don't want that to ever end. And that's why I asked you earlier, like, how was it that initial contact of you being a father of a girl to finally be able to reach back out and have some type of relationship with your daughter?
I think during the marriage, when the kids started to get, was growing up, I think the mother was gravitating, looking at the kids as more of a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like she wanted to be more in control of the household,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of like letting me be the leader of the house, she was trying to took over the household. In essence,
Why did you let her?
I didn't let her. It seemed like I didn't have any control of it. We talked about it, and she was like, "You don't tell me what to do, and I ain't listening to what you tell me to do." And I think it came from her upbringing.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I think when a woman hears another woman speak so negatively about a man, they never learn how to value one. So even if they have a real man in their life, they mess it up by doing this.
and
And
talking to her other
yeah,
friends,
that don't have what they have, aspire to have what they have, but only can see life through a jaded negative lens. So they're gonna see the bad in every single situation, even if that's not the intent or what was actually happening.
so
For me, I didn't want baby mama trauma. That was something that I've learned that if you allow wisdom to be your tutor, you don't have to learn through your own experiences. You can learn from someone else's. And I watched many of my cousins go through baby mama trauma and baby mama drama that I ain't want parts of. I didn't like the fact that you only could get your kid on the weekend because that's what most women felt as though it's not benefit to the father. It's the fact that I want to go out on the weekend. So yeah, you can get them because you my babysitter. You're not their father. You just a weekend babysitter for me to have fun time. I didn't like that as an idea because I feel as though if you really cared about my child, we could do week on, week off or something in those moments. But I didn't want any of it at all. But I just felt that that was like 50-50. You know, if you're going to go half, you guys want half on the baby, you should go half on the time. And especially if the father is present and want it, not just giving somebody weekends.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, a relationship is kind of hard. Even with, having kids together.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a partnership. It's like a relationship. Somebody got to raise these kids right. I mean, it's totally different than having a partner
Yeah.
and a relationship.
I think having a partner, it makes it easier to have a relationship with your child because as a partner, you guys know y'all are on the same team. And if you're on the same team, you should want the same objective. So in you wanting the same objective, we got to do what's best to get that objective.
Right.
And this time it may be your route, next time it may be mine. But we both know, and the time after that, it may be a combination of both. But we are able to get the common goal met.
Right.
And I think most times pride and ego gets the best of us, i.e. having generational curse of the woman not learning how to talk to a man because now she's too prideful and her ego won't allow her to allow a man to lead her because she's going to look weak to who she values, and that's her mom because that's who she's always had. So if I now become submissive to a man that's leading me, or you weak because strong black woman. And I think that's the most challenging part of dating black women is that they've always had to be strong. And when they meet a real man that can allow them to be weak, they don't know how to relinquish the strength and the control and the power.
Right. They don't want to let that shield down, that sword.
Yeah. I don't think they know how because they've never done it. So I think that's the part of where the man is missing. Is because if more of us understand that the black woman don't want to be strong, she just has to be strong her entire life. So when we find the one that is for us, it is our job to allow them to relinquish that sword. And in us doing that, we now create more of a powerful partnership and a dynamic in which really can put the blacks as a whole on the map. Because once we come together, there's nothing we cannot do.
Right. Ain't nothing stronger than a family.
Yeah.
That's the strongest thing in the world.
Yeah. And it's like once we get to a point of understanding that, putting value on that, that's when we win as a collective. Who's gonna stop? Because if we look at any other culture, any other race, any other agenda, if they stay together, they win.
And that's probably what broke down the black family.
That
too.
is who would have done it.
Taking a man out of the house.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And then it forces us as men to have to go to the military to escape our traumas and hopefully try to set up some guarantee for us in the future because we don't know what our life will be like. Because we ain't seen no black man really do anything outside of that. Because they either work at a factory, go to the military, or they die. And if we had more people that was together that can look out for each other as a family, you got a voice. You got more than just your voice. You got more than just your thoughts and your ways and opportunities of wanting to do things.
Right, you got more support.
Yes.
To help you out. Because you can't do it by yourself. You're stronger together.
Yes.
Than being apart.
Agreed. And I believe more people need to understand it and align with people who value what they value. Because if you start being around people who values align with yours, You introduce yourself to a whole new ecosystem. It's women out here who now have been taught how to talk to a man, who have decided to learn how to be respectful, even though they weren't taught. They said, I don't want to go the same route in which my mother went because I don't want the same results that my mother has had. So I'm willing to actually allow a man to lead me. I'm willing to actually listen. Those women exist. And now I believe it's up for women to get around like-minded women, and also more women to come to the forefront and say, hey, listen, we don't always have to be strong. If we start doing things this way, these are the results in which we can achieve and accomplish because I did it and I'm showing you the way.
Being feminine,
Yeah,
strong,
yeah.
just
I
as
think
powerful.
women need more role models in that, and just showing that there is power in submission when you are being led by a real man. And I ain't even gonna say real. I'm just gonna say a man because if you know, if you, I don't think you can be a fake man. I just think you are a man or you're not. So
Right, a man to take care of his kids.
exactly, man of integrity, man of humility, man of responsibility, accountability, respect, love, character,
It ain't
dignity.
always fair too, cause life ain't fair.
No,
It ain't gonna be fair. Like
no,
even kids
No.
gonna gravitate to their mothers.
Yeah,
Like, they nurture children.
Yeah.
So they gonna look at their mother for nurturing. They gonna look at their father for something different.
Exactly. It's the give and take.
And if you don't have a father in the household, it's like, who you gonna look at?
That's a great question. I think you gotta find it, especially now in the power of social media. There are so many people that's available. I think that we've been conditioned to follow people or gravitate and like people that don't push that agenda always. They're pushing a different agenda. That's why certain people become popular and famous, to push a hidden agenda. I also believe that there are people that's on the right side of that are there and available. You just gotta look harder because they're not gonna. If you have someone that's constantly pushing positivity, family, black marriage, black excellence, black everything, and they know that they're, if we come together, because if the agenda was to separate the black man and now we try and reverse the agenda and start something else, why would they push that? It goes against everything that they created. It goes against everything that the system created.
That's really true. And we can turn it around.
Yeah, we just got to decide that that's what we're gonna do. Like, you gotta get as much information as you can, but don't go over consume yourself with the information, but just enough to make a sound decision. And once you can make that decision, make it. Make it. Because we spend so much time trying to get all of the information to make a decision. You're never going to have all of the information. But what happens is time continues to pass. So then you realize, like, dang, I could have done so much more. But I thought I needed this. I'm still waiting on this. Or I ain't see about this. But the time passed.
Right. Life ain't gonna wait on nobody.
At all.
Right.
At all.
And you just gotta live your life to the best. Even though if you go through all this stuff that I've been through, you can't just like like it's like a loss, but you still gotta live off.
Like,
Being divorced.
I'll tell you about my old neighbor, right? This man been married 3 times, got 3 kids, 3 ex-wives. Each ex-wife he caught cheating on him. One of them, he met at the plant. It was a guy from the plant having sex with his wife at his house while he at work at the plant. And the union steward told him, take a half day, go home, check on your family. And he walks in to see a car. He sees a car in the driveway, walks in, and his wife is on her knees with the man member in her mouth. And all my neighbor does is call the police. The police officer comes and tells him and say, hey, you're a better man than me. Because if it were me, they both would have been gone. The guy tells my neighbor, hey, I've been doing this before you transferred to this plant. Nobody told you to marry her. That's what you decided to do, and I'm gonna continue doing it after. But let me go. And this happened 3 separate times with my neighbor. So my entire, cause I grew up in the neighborhood, so he watched me grow up from a boy to a man, and I used to go sit on his porch and just get knowledge as a kid, just cause he done so much. And he used to always tell me, don't marry a woman. Don't marry, just don't, just don't, just don't, just don't. He was so negative when it came to women because of how women did him.
He lost trust. His trust.
Yes. And I'm like, all women aren't like that. But then I had to ask him, like, why did you keep picking the same woman? Because this woman, just because she looked different, she was the same person because she did the exact same thing. So, and what were you doing to fall short? But he never wanted to have those conversations with me because that's how I get the knowledge in order to make the sound decision to understand if you telling me don't be with a woman makes sense or not. Because I'm only hearing one side of the story, I can't make a sound decision because I don't know the other half. Does that make sense?
A lot of sense, yeah.
But I took what he used to tell me perspective. Same thing with my father when he says I'm not always the bad guy. It allowed me to understand that there's more than one side to every story. So whatever I hear is fine. I can take what I need to take from it, but don't believe it all. Gain what you can gain from it, but understand there's something else to the story. And in that, I'm always willing to know that I don't know everything in order for me to learn more than what I previously knew.
Because I asked my ex-wife, like, what was the problem? She said, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm like, why did you try to help me in a relationship?
What did she think she was supposed to do?
She never answered that question. I don't know. I don't know if I would pushed her toward, doing all this stuff, but, that happened. Really, I ain't gonna say I was perfect, but.
Did she want 4 kids?
I guess she did. I don't know, because we never communicated.
Right.
I don't know. It's a big communication
Yeah,
problem.
because that could have been some resentment, and she could have felt that what you were supposed to do because you wanted to have all these kids. That could have been how she felt.
Yeah.
That's a
Maybe
possibility.
she wanted more freedom in the household.
Yeah.
It was a lot of things. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's why communication is so important because no one's a mind reader. That's what we talk about on our podcast is that I can't read her mind, she can't read mine. So if we don't address it, then we can't be mad at the person because they did not know.
Because I was so consumed in working, trying to support the family. I was like, and she had the kids there. My sons was getting older. And I think my sons, she couldn't control them.
Yeah.
There was boys.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came home, they did everything I told her to, tell them to do.
Right.
But when I left, they just walked all over her. And I was like, you gotta stop doing that. She's a little passive.
Yeah.
And I said, don't let her walk all over you. Then it was like resentment toward me. You don't tell me what to do. And it was like, you got out of here.
Yeah, but she can't also complain about the results that she getting, but then I'm giving you the solution and you don't follow that either.
Right. So I don't know. Who knows?
That's some things that women need to understand. You can't complain. This is why men say it'd be hard to talk to women. Because women do a lot of complaining. And they be like, well, I'm just venting. But that complaining is coming from somewhere. It ain't just a vent. And as men, we understand that. So when we give you the solution, because ultimately, yes, you may be venting right now, but you really want the answer to whatever the problem is. Because who want problems? So when a man gives a woman a solution, don't answer with, you can't tell me what to do. Just say, okay. Whether you accept the answer or not, but just say okay, because now you have an answer to your problem. You have a solution that may work. Or you make a tailor some of it to whatever you need in order to get the result that you want.
Yeah, suggestion.
Yes.
Listen.
Just listen. Because if it wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be venting about it.
I thought it was a problem. Which, the sons was like not going to school, and I'm telling you, like, you gotta send them to school. This is after the
Yeah.
divorce. My son's like, they didn't go to school. Daughter either. They was missing 60, 70 days of school a year. I'm like, why aren't you? You don't tell me what to do.
So
You
what
don't
was
do
she
that.
doing?
Who?
The
The
mother.
ex-wife.
Yeah.
She was struggling and like paying bills. Had a job.
Okay, so if you wanted them to go to school, why you didn't get custody of your kids?
That's kind of hard to do.
Did you
If
try?
yeah,
How
either
many times?
either I had custody and take care of the kids and not work and can't support them, or let her have custody and I supported them financially.
Yeah, but if they're not doing the things you value and like going to school and staying out of the streets, do you think the money outweighs that, or the money just fuels that ability to do the things that you don't want them to do?
It definitely probably fueled it.
Because
It did. Yeah.
you gotta, if the mother, no matter how she started, if she is now no longer that person and you have kids with them, it's still up to us as men, as the fathers, to take care of our kid, no matter what that look like.
Because my sons was getting in trouble after I got a divorce,
Because they missed you.
and because they had no control in the household.
Yeah.
Nobody to tell them.
They
to
missed
stop
you in
doing
more
this.
ways than
Yeah.
one.
And I was trying to tell them, and they ran to their mother like, I'm running to my mama. He's messing with me. He's trying to get me
Yeah,
to go to school.
because you're not in the house anymore, which means they don't have to answer to you on a daily because you're only there financially.
Right.
So as long as the house, the rent getting paid, bills getting paid, that's what you're doing financially. So they're gonna go to the ruler of the castle, the mother. Even though you're supporting them and having the ability to have the castle, that don't matter to a kid. What matters is somebody that I have to actually be accountable for on a daily.
They was not accountable for anything. They did what they want to do.
Exactly.
End up getting in
But
trouble.
when you said when you were there, you were able to take care of them because they listened to you. They didn't listen to her, but they listened to you. Now that you are no longer there, they don't have to listen to you because you're not present.
They end up having children at a young age, going to jail, end up in prison by the time they was 18.
Because they was out here lost.
And now when they got out of jail, I think they kind of resent that they didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
Now they like,
They didn't value it because of what they heard.
and now they, to me, it feel like they said I should have listened to my dad. I know one day because my daughter come to me after that. Like, I know you was a good dad. My mother always.
Now, do you have any resentment for not changing the way in which you did things in order to maybe keep your son out of prison?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
And my goal is to get more men to not have to deal with that resentment, because we as men got to do whatever it takes. If that means we got to take a leave of absence, if that means we got to start our own business in order to create our own hours, in order to make our life around our kid, that's what we got to do. Especially if the mom that the woman that we had these kids by is no longer the person we thought they were when we had the kid. Even if we made the mistake of having the kid before we found out who that woman truly was. Because the deed was done.
But when you got like child support hanging over your head, you just can't stop working because these laws out here throw you.
But
in
if you
jail.
get child support, if you have custody of the kid, the mama got to pay you child support. The only reason they get the child support is because they keeping the kid full time.
But it's kind of hard to get custody. They normally give it to the woman.
Yeah, that's true, but we can't keep going on the fact that it's hard. What is easy? Everything has some type of difficulty, and honestly, everything really is only as difficult as you make it. You can understand, okay, this is what it's going to take for me to get my kids, and this is what it's going to take. It ain't hard. It just, they making me jump through an extra 2 or 3 hoops. So be it. Because the end results, what I ultimately truly want, I'm not going to stop at anything until I get it.
Because I even had a doctor tell me that I would be a better supportive parent.
Yes.
And even wrote a letter to the child support office, and I gave that letter to him. He just looked at it and threw it like, "You're not getting it."
See, because you may
I
have,
probably would have had to spend a lot of money with lawyers.
but you may have. That's maybe what it costs, and also you may have given it to the wrong person. It may have been somebody else that's supposed to receive that letter, not the person at the child support office. It may have been a judge that grant you custody, and you just went and gave it to the wrong person.
True. Could have been.
Hey, pretty mama. Hey, pretty mama. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Daddy got you. I know you hungry. I know. I know. I know. I got you. I got you. I got you. Let me just get you a bib, okay? I got you.